in this chest is probably the single greatest swap meet find I've ever run across. Even better than a tray of print blocks. Happy swap meet morning, everyone. I am unloaded, set up. So is everyone else, and we are ready to swap. I brought the 48 Ford pickup rear fender, and I brought all these sets of wheels that I've sorted out. Grateful for Mr. Dead Wrench to let me crash a few things at the booth, and this is sort of the hangout spot. We got kind of a chill group of guys here, and it is time to go look around and vend a little too.
How do you go home? The reason I'm asking these questions is because I ain't got no room to go home and put it as you could. I put it on the Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. And it's a 1-cylinder, obviously. Upright. With the 2 little valves. Is it external oiling?
Yeah, you got those valves that triple.
Yeah. What about the valves, though?
You got the one, it's got off the valve, it's got heat loaded.
Oh, I see, yeah.
When this thing goes down, it works off the factory, it's got the valve down.
Oh, really?
It's got a little light sprinkle there, so it opens to let the fresh air in, but when the exhaust comes back up, it'll open it up and stop it.
Wow.
A lot of the noises, have one rocker.
Cool. We saw a guy one time, he had a brass era car and it had a little squirt oiler, like you had to punch it every few 15 minutes while you're running it.
Yeah, there's a few streaks. Front bearings are out.
And the wheel?
There's no bearings in the headset.
Oh, I see, yeah. This 57 two-door post sold for $5K.
That's probably a pretty good deal.
I remember that being the 1998 price when I first started in this. That's what Tri-5 Chevys were doing at the time.
Oh, this is my homie right here.
Yeah,
The guy in the Dodge truck there. I think it's my homie.
there's a nice 57. Cheaper to buy one done. All right, I gotta look at this tee. Is this yours?
Yeah.
Is it display or for sale?
Oh, it's for sale.
Yeah. Is it a 26 or a 27? Is it a 26 or a 27?
26.
Yeah. What are you asking for it?
Oh, I got them right here, Jerry. Okay. I left them in 77.50.
Really?
Keep it up.
Yeah. That's dead on, man. That's right where the market is.
I built it from parts.
Really? I can tell by the tour stickers you've been all over in it.
I have my wife and I tour. Well, we went to nationals. Live in Arkansas now, so we do 10 hillbilly tours.
Yeah.
And built national. Last year was in Manhattan, Kansas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're from Kansas.
I wish I'd known about that.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I can't remember where all we went out there. But, isn't there a military base?
Yeah, Fort Riley.
Yeah, Riley.
Junction
Yeah.
City.
Yeah, that was a neat deal. We got to go through their equestrian. What is it called? All their stables and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neato.
I don't think
He
you're
built-
going to get a crank up.
He built that thing from parts, man.
Yeah, the rain washed my last one off, so I thought, well, I'll make it portable.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's
Got
got
a
Rocky
rumble seat,
Mountain on the
Does it
back.
have a handle?
Rumble seat would be at the top, keys at the bottom.
Rumble seat on there.
Yeah.
They got kits. Switch them over.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I like the crank rest.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is it electric or you got a cranker?
I can do either or.
Electric was standard in 20, I think. Yeah. But a lot of guys, they'll put the later bell housing for the starter.
Oh yeah, this is the best way.
Yeah, I saw a 14 that was electric. Nice.
You got manners, good manners.
Yeah. Did you see the guys riding around in that 15 touring car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Just cool with it. The little motor's just perfect.
We found a killer collection of European cars. We got French, Italian, British, some really kind of odd stuff in here. Got the Trabant, little white one there. So over on this side, we've got the Russian ones. See, we got the rip-off of the 56 Packard. We got the rip-off of the 41 Packard. In Russia, R&D stood for reverse engineer and duplicate. That was kind of a mystery there. These are super neat. The detail's great. A whole lot of books. I've got just a half-ton minivan. I don't have a 3/4-ton minivan. They couldn't spec the 3/4-ton and the front-wheel drive together. You had to go rear-wheel drive if you wanted the 3/4-ton option. So I found the actual correct 63 cap. Those others I screwed up and bought the Chevelle version. So they'll just be wall hangers. He couldn't break a 20 and he wanted $1 for it. So he said, take the hubcap. He said, pedal back and bring me the $1. So I gotta go look in the van and find 4 quarters in the ashtray. You know about this display motor?
239 came from Rick Kirk's museum in Ripley, Oklahoma.
And he was the guy that cut it then?
No, more than likely Ford cut it.
Okay, I wondered if it was a factory deal or what the purpose of it was.
Rick Kirk did a lot of work for experimental work for Ford back in the 60s.
Really?
And he had a museum in Ripley that was nothing but Ford product. And I can't 100% guarantee it was done by Ford.
Yeah.
But look at the spark plugs on that side over there, and tell me who would have the damn pull to be able to have the spark plugs drove.
Oh, some old hot rodder. Yeah, I mean the valves are chrome too. All the springs and... Well, you could have sent those to any plating shop, I would think. That's cool, man.
He did a lot with Ford, so
Yeah.
that just leads us to believe it was a Ford.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great piece.
When they sold his museum out, he had the experimental Ford turbines out of the trucks in the 60s.
Oh yeah.
He had the factory funny cars. He had a factory sponsor for funny cars.
Yep. Cool. Sure, I'd be dumb not to.
There it is, right there.
All right, well, let's load them up.
All right.
back home now, and it's time to unload the van. You can see it's completely full. Probably about a third of that is the rims that I brought, and then another 2/3 is going to be all the stuff I got at the meet. So let's unload and have a look what's in here. Now, I ran across a few new old stock parts, including the LTD grill and this GM front fender, but in this chest is probably the single greatest swap meet find I've ever run across. Even better than a tray of print blocks. Take a look at it. I was trying to determine if it was GM or not.
And I don't know.
So,
Just glancing at it, the finish looks too gray to be original stuff, is what I.
oh really? Yeah, I don't know if there's oxidation on it. Yeah, pick it up.
You know.
Pick it up. Look at the. I'll have to have you help me grab the chest. I can barely lift this thing.
All right. Full of gold bars.
Close.
All right, you ready?
Ready.
Holy cow!
It's loaded.
All right, right here.
Yeah.
All right.
It's probably the single greatest swap meet find I've ever run across.
Holy cow! That's an amazing batch of emblems and ornaments.
Go ahead and unload them.
That's some cool stuff.
Yeah, these said that this all came out of one collection, and he bought the guy's entire collection, like $25,000 worth of parts. And he said this was the end of it, and he was just ready to be out and done. And originally I picked up 2 of the badges, and I was like, hey, what do you want for these? And he's like, oh, you know, whatever. He shot me a price. And then I was telling him the story about how all these collections of emblems got there. You know, at the edge of town, there'd be the junkyard, and there'd be all these cars ready to get burned out and hit the wrecker. And guys would just go out there and they'd pop off the radiator badges. Like, they wouldn't even take the grill shells. Get a whole collection like that. And those are they DeSoto?
I think so.
Yeah.
They're not new Fords.
They're not Fords. So yeah, every one of these is kind of a tombstone of a dead old true classic car.
And the layers keep going.
The layers keep going. That's a Kaiser with that
With the ring on it?
plastic ring.
Well, there's
yeah.
the rest of it.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's actually one common thing in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool one.
Yeah. Need another blanket.
Yeah, no kidding. Just about to that point. Hey, you got a foot.
Foot?
You got a foot.
I was trying
You literally got a foot.
Got a foot. I was trying to think what that was. I mean, it's got to be some novelty aftermarket. No manufacturer would have had the foot logo.
Probably a J.C. Whitney deal or something.
Here's the first half of the swap meet haul for 2024. I bought this fuel tank, which fits a 70s or 80s GM car. The guy took $5 for it, which I thought, well, I can't really walk for that price. We'll probably use it in one of these old cars someday. The Ford Falcon sign is early 60s, So my dad has the 62 Falcon, and I thought this was just a neat shop hanger since it kind of goes along with that car. And it is masonite and plastic, so pretty fragile piece, but there wasn't any factory metal signs or porcelain enamel signs that I know of. So if a guy's got a Falcon, this is the collector sign to have to go with it. The Chevelle, I think, headlight ring, one of the neighbors gifted to us. The little 59 Chevy grill bullet. I actually found that laying out in the middle of the roadway and saved it from getting run over. The little aluminum 64 or 5 Chevelle hubcap, that's actually an aftermarket piece. And then the 63 Impala, kind of the same deal. I thought those would kind of be cool. Just pick up the hubcap and then try and find a car to build around it. So I'll look for an old rusty ratty beater Chevelle or Impala to stick either of those on. The 70 to 72, 73 4 Chevy and GMC caps I pretty much just got for parts. I've got a couple pretty decent ones, and then I think out of these 5 I can build 2 more that are alright and have a whole set of those. The 68 Chevrolet hubcaps, there's 3 of those, and the neighbor had them at his booth, so I had my eye on them first thing right while we were all unloading, and then he actually traded me for a pair of 73 and later 4-wheel drive front caps to get all 3 of these. So that was a good deal for us both. He wanted the 4-wheel drive caps, then I had a set of these once we were done, so they'll go on eBay. I did get the automatic shifter for the 68 GTO. That's a 1-year only T-handle automatic, and he hit me at $50 on that, which I thought, that's a good opportunity to have that. The parts car of mine has sat with no windshield, and everything inside's really rusty. The seats are kind of destroyed, and so I figured that shifter sitting under there with all the moisture probably didn't fare too well either. So for $50, it was a good crime of opportunity to have one that's out of the car that I could look at and see and know is good. The headlight lenses are 34 Plymouth. They're in the box. And then that other one, you can see it's kind of got a shovel shape to it. I'll sit there with a picture book, look through, find what that one is and identify it, and then it'll go on eBay. A lot of those you can search the name too, and that one's a flex beam, so that's a good starting point for identification. The 2 Ford 8BA oil filters, those will be eBay pieces. I've sold them in the past. Not everybody's old engine has an oil filter, and so it's just a good piece to have. Somebody's got an engine and they're trying to complete it out with all the little detail parts. I did get the 1974 Dodge steering wheel. That'll be a great addition to any of the Bluesmobiles. A lot of those that I have are 76 and 77 Royals with a different steering wheel, and so this is the right DTL piece to make those cars correct. I did get 3 Diamond T truck hubcaps. Those will be good eBay pieces. The 1972 Chevy grill, actually bought for a friend of mine, as well as the bumper guards with the rubber. The other 3, I think the tall one is an aftermarket, and then the 2 short ones, just something in the 30s or 40s. So I'll sit there again with the picture books and identify those. They'll go on eBay. 1967 Chevrolet Impala wire caps. You guys know on that yellow car, I'm wanting to kind of return that one to stock with a black vinyl top, fender skirts, and keep the yellow paint. So those will be a good addition for it. And then the trunk molding is going to go on the Caprice. That's an Impala molding, and so the Caprice needs to have that part to detail it out to be correct for the Impala, for the Supernatural build. I know you guys really roasted me in the comments on that, but if you watch that whole video, which a lot of people didn't, I know from the comments, I explained in there the market on that car and why that's the way to go and why it makes sense to kill a two-door to fix that four-door and the exact specific way to go about it. The 1980s Caprice, fender extension for the quarter panel, and the radio bezels, the front bumper lights, all of those are pieces that sell on eBay. The little 59 Cadillac, you can tell on the Hot Wheels cars, they had a little rubber band there, and that's supposed to hold the hood open, and over the years that rubber breaks down and it kind of takes the paint off. So if any of you guys collect these higher end Hot Wheels cars, you want to get those rubber bands off there before they eat the paint on your priceless collector. Ford time schedule, this was actually left by one of the neighbors. Just kind of a cool piece from the 60s. There's no real actual use to that now, but it's just kind of a relic of its time, and to think that thing was in a Ford dealership and the history of it and what it saw, it's just a cool tangible artifact from the past to hold in your hands and know the way that the dealership life was way back then. The little Datsun 280Z police car, really weird way to chase down the bad guys, but I guess you could. This one's actually got batteries in it, and we'll do a quick cutaway here to show how it works. Kind of a weird little toy, but it's an interesting piece and just something that's odd enough. I thought, yeah, why not? Got the little Chrysler bag there. Guy actually just gave me that to carry some of these parts and pieces home, but I think that'll kind of make a neat display piece. Then the Motor Rhythm cans, those are actual new old stock pieces, and a couple of them are full, one's been drained. A lot of guys like to drain cans just because they can leak over time, and then if you ever drop one with the weight of that oil in there, it can really cause them to dent, whereas an empty one, it might just put a little ding in it. So as far as collectors go, most of the people do empty them. I actually like mine full. I like to feel the weight of it in my hands and know that that can is as it was from the factory with whatever's on the label still in it. And it's just more of a tangible tie to the past. Not just a regular pipe wrench. This one is a Western Auto, if it'll focus. And that one, didn't pay a whole lot for it, but I thought it was pretty cool just for what it is. And along with it, I got this Western Auto catalog. So as far as all the stuff that they sold, you can see the saw, the hammer, the plane, the cordless drill. You could get it all from Western Auto. Got the aluminum Chrysler building. That's a pretty cool piece for display. These were kind of a limited run, and they're hard to find, and it's just a great display piece, has a really good presence to it. I did get the 5-gallon gas can, and then another one that's a super old piece, and that's the original writing on it. That's not just somebody's hokey one that they did later on. That is completely original can, which is super, super neat. It was a great day for vanity license plates. Got the Chevy truck, the Pontiac. The Corvair is actually 1960, so great promotional piece from when those cars first came out. And the Indiana, just kind of a funny one. Buddy of mine lives there, and every other post I see him make on Facebook now is hey, I found this cool project, but I can't buy it because I really got dinged on taxes this year. And so I'll send him that. It'll just kind of be a fun piece for him to have. The green cooler, for whatever reason, it goes along with the Supernatural Impalas. Something about the TV show, the guys used that, and so to make one of those prop cars accurate with all the accessories, that's a piece that they go for. I know this is a little later one, it doesn't have the diamond logo, but for what I paid for it, it's close enough. 79 LTD grill, NOS dealer part from Ford. This little photo album, super neat piece. I believe this was Saskatchewan, so you can see all the pictures. This lady with excellent penmanship wrote on the back of them what each of the things are. And this is just a super neat album because you actually get the description along with what you're seeing. So just a great historical artifact and something tangible you can hold in your hands and really get a feel for what life was like, not only decades and decades ago, but in another part of the universe. I got the old Ford book. This has got a lot of the early cars before the Model T. You had the Model N, the Model S, and then you see the development of the T on into the later years. Really neat book to read through. I've already got one of these, so I think that one's gonna go to Joe. Then the Hemmings Classic Car. This is like a 70s and 80s era magazine, and it's probably one of the most educationally dense magazines that you can get a hold of. There's just a lot of well-researched things from primary sources of people that actually did design work and worked in the assembly lines on these cars. And so to actually get good historical accounts of the development and the building and the history of these cars, if you're into that sort of thing, Special Interest Autos is really where it's at. Then Hemmings Classic Car is kind of the second generation of that. These were early 2000s to about 2010 and 2011, and they still do make this magazine. And if you're not subscribed, I would recommend it because it's a really neat magazine just to read through every month. Hubcaps, 68 Plymouth, 69, 70, 71 Dodge truck. And then that early one, I've actually never seen, but picked it up here at the swap meet. So that'll be a good eBay piece. 58 Thunderbird, 57 and 8 Ford radio bezels. Then I was at a guy's booth and looking over these. I've seen these fake Buick portholes before, and I picked them up, and they're marked $5 a pair. I thought, well, that's kind of cheap. And so I asked him, I said, you're wanting $5 a pair for these, right? And he kind of pauses a second, and he's like, nah, that's the old price. I'm thinking, okay, $20 a pair maybe is where he's going to be at. Nope. He points to the whole pile, all the portholes, the stainless ones, the individual chrome ones, all the gas cap doors, and he says, take that whole pile for $5. He said, I don't want to haul this stuff back to Louisiana. So that was kind of a funny thing, but one of those times where you just got to be there at the right moment, and things like that happen. Texaco Transcontinental Run, 1917 Maxwell. I did open it up, and it's a neat display car. It's got the little markings on the side for their promotional tour. Just a great piece of early motoring. And of course, Maxwell was one of the forerunners for Chrysler. So anybody that's a Chrysler guy, the Maxwell is where those came from. And just neat to have as part of a collection of Chrysler artifacts. The mirrors are 1965-66 Ford F100. Those are really similar to the later ones. The 67 to 72 you see around a lot, but this early style, the brackets are just enough different that it makes them really unique and not something you find around every corner. So I have high hopes for those on eBay. I know the others have been selling pretty good, but the uniqueness of these I think makes them something odd that ought to do well. The 1960 to 1966 Chevrolet passenger mirror mount in original paint. Kind of a hard to find original part for those trucks. So here it is, all laid out. Quite the collection of radiator badges, hood ornaments, emblems, hood mascots, you name it. Several of these Morris hood ornaments. This one here I'm not sure on. Any of these that I haven't identified, if you guys know what they are, just call them out there in the comments. Got the mystery pair of wings. Not sure what those go to. Ford Motometer, probably Model A. This radiator cap's super neat. Looks like new old stock piece. It's got a number there, but who knows. Never been on a car though. Got the Indian missing the cap obviously, and then missing probably a bow and arrow, or at least the bow. I guess he's holding the arrow there. Got lots of Oldsmobile, Ford Thunderbird. That's pretty cool. This winged one, I believe, yeah, Chrysler it says. Got the fluid drive, the little Conquistador, the Bel Air one there at the top. Those were one of the few carryover pieces that were used both on 58 and 59 Chevrolets. More of the Oldsmobile there. The Dodge Rams, there's like 6 different ones of those. The little Motometer there, it's got the Chevrolet bow tie in it. This piece, I don't have any idea on it. Got several things going on there. You got the night head at the top, and then looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7-sided star, I'm not sure. And then some sort of running animal, like a dog, I would guess, but I'm not sure. If anybody knows what that thing is, comment, let us in, let us know. Got the Plymouth Mayflower, Mr. DeSoto. I believe these ones with the 3 heads are Graham Page. Not certain on that. Then we've got several Buick, the Packard 12, Overland Whippet, Nash, Essex, Lafayette. Of course, the Erskine by Studebaker. Got the Durant and a couple different iterations of it. Got the Jordan, Jewett, Peerless. 3 of the Mercury ones are kind of neat. Then the H. I haven't looked at that one yet. So if anybody knows what that is, these 2 are actually new old stock. Got the little part number in there. Kind of neat ones. Several different styles. These ones sit up, and then this one's a little flatter, and then that one's got the red insert. I believe these 3 are Dodge. You got the Cadillac. Then here's another reappearance of the Dog, Star, and Night. So if anyone knows what that is, that's kind of a match to that other, I'm assuming a grill part. Then these 2, I wasn't able to identify either. Got the M, and then I'm not sure, like a Jaguar, a Lion, or a Griffin. Then this one with the bird, I wasn't sure on either. This one's got the knight on the horse, not sure on that one either. And then some kind of bird on that one, not sure. This guy here, got the knight, the boat, the castle. Anybody's guess. That's a steering wheel emblem for the center. Horn button, I know that. Then this guy, not exactly sure either. Some sort of stylized knight head probably. If you know what that one is, any of those, leave a comment. And then these, is that French? Je suis prêt? Je suis prêt? I'm not sure. I'm not a French speaker. Anybody knows what that is? Just comment. Got the Bentley wings, of course. GMC, beautiful, beautiful piece. That one's been replated. That's probably a hard one to find regardless, but being all plated, show quality, ready to go. Kind of a unique piece. Another Indian. Some of that's broken off, but still usable, displayable. Just have to do a little work to it. This one is marked 30 to 32 Cadillac. See some of these they've mounted to wood bases for display. Reproduction Pontiac Maiden. Super, super neat one. Some of these are the bases that they would go on the grill shells. Got the little aftermarket corner, the light up owl, the light up donkey, and then the foot, just kind of a weirdo, bolt it somewhere and some kind of conversation piece. Got a few of the dog bones, got the Packard Cormorant there. These guys, Kaiser. Got another Indian, another bird. This is, I think, some kind of a bighorn sheep, I guess. And there would have been a face that goes on there. Hopefully that's plastic and somebody could either recast it or maybe 3D print it and somehow recreate that face on there to make that one complete again. This is a used version of that other new one. Somebody's drilled holes to mount something to it, but still something someone would like to have. And then this, not a radiator cap, not a gas cap. It's actually the mate to this guy, and these were for mounting the windshields on probably a late 20s or 30s car, or possibly even the divider piece for some kind of open car. They'd have a second windshield for the back seat. So those, if a guy knew what they were, I'm sure one of these guys with a classic car, like classic from the late 20s or 30s, would really like to have them. Just a few more. This Mercury is actually from before Mercury was a Ford brand, and that was actually a Buick cap. So that was probably a little precursor to Mercury, just a stylized thing. Obviously, Buick had no idea that Ford would introduce that. So really interesting piece of automotive history there. And this guy, kind of a neat one. He's got his sword there. This one's marked, 31 DeSoto, and it's marked as a replica also. Some of these have been repro'd over the years, and they're just really, really neat ones, each in their own way, to show the history and the design of these cars that they came on. 52 Canadian Mercury Monarch. Got the lion there. Super, super neat. Here's one of those Kaiser ones, complete. You see there's an extra little tip there. Lots of gas caps too. None of them marked. Here's the N. Not sure what that is. It's kind of interesting. Some of these had just a tiny little vent hole in the center. 1919 olds. We've got a few of the dealer emblems. This Robin one is really neat. It's got like a 1930s or 40s style Ford script on it. So super neat early piece. Then more in the bin. I left a lot of the common ones in here, but there's a bunch in here of more of the dealer emblems. So all of it as a whole, super, super neat find. I thought that last year with the print blocks that was going to be the end-all, be-all of swap meet finds. And those guys out there, we really did it up, and they blew out last year's find. So great haul to come home with. And for eBay, I'll be piecing these out. Quick look in the Western Auto catalog, and we have found the monkey wrench. 9-inch, 23 cents, 11-inch, 39 cents. There's your accessory front bumper guards. A lot of car stuff in here. Of course, it was Western Auto. Super, super neat catalog overall. Few more pieces of paper. We've got the 65 Chevrolet letterhead. You can see the different models there. And then there's also a few of the 68s. A few sales brochures. Got the 64. And then 72 Mercury. Joe just got one of those. It's a pretty decent car. He loves his 67s, so I picked up that. And then this is probably about the oddest piece that I found. This is La Dari. And these are fiberglass hand-laid bodies that they sold. And there's all the different ones you could get. And I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so there it says 1950 MGTD. So if you found an MG that you wanted to modernize and put one of these probably 1960s era bodies on, late 50s, you could buy. Yeah, that's a pretty looking interior in that one. Now, as far as the collector value of one of these versus an MG, so this is a Volkswagen, very, very early. 55 Volkswagen. Could you imagine tearing apart an oval Volkswagen or even a split window to build something like that? Kind of sacrilegious, but things like that, kind of the reason why all these others are worth what they're worth today. This one is built on a Henry J chassis with a Toyo Pet motor. This one's on a 40 Ford chassis with a 52 Olds motor. Just kind of fascinating back in the day. And that was, of course, in California. The Centurion, kind of a dubious look to it, but that Cheetah is kind of sporty.